Okay, today I'm going to be talking about the standard tools of the trade anytime you're doing embroidery work or applique. These are some things that you want to keep on hand always, and things you're probably going to be using every time you turn your machine on and sew something out. The first thing is the thread here. I use the Poly X40 brand. I very rarely have thread breaks or kinking up, and it's a really good thread. It looks good when it's done. Very few loops. It's just a really good all-around thread. I think it's pretty expensive, but I think this was like almost $3. By the time you buy a lot of colors, you'll probably end up spending quite a bit of money, but a good brand of thread to have. The second thing is scissors. I have these scissors, and the only thing they're really good for is cutting like fur type fabric. I can really get in there and kind of hack away, scissor away. I do not use these with regular cotton fabrics that I do applique with. So these are strictly for cutting piled fabric, and you can see the profile on that is pretty curved. Here are my go-to scissors for all applique. You can see here they're curved down and then back up, and these are really good scissors. I love these scissors. They have a really fine point to them. Let me see if I can show you. There we go. If you can see that point, how fine it is, that's excellent for trimming really close to your applique stitch die line. Here's what the packaging looks like. I always keep an extra pair on hand, and these are the Heritage Cutlery scissors. They're, I believe, 4 inches, and the price there, I don't know if you can see, $22.95. They're not cheap, but they are so worth it to have. So definitely something you want to have in your stash. The other thing you want to have is a USB drive. If your machine has a USB port, this is excellent for transferring files from your favorite embroidery and applique websites after you download over to your machine, so that you can get busy working quickly and not have to worry about USB cables and connecting them to laptops and computers. So I always use that. Another thing, I never wind my own bobbins because I can't seem to do it right, and and the times that I have been able to do it, there have been major problems with the outcome of my projects that I'm working on. So I always just buy these pre-wound bobbins. My machine takes the size A, and I think this is pretty much for all machines, but I love these. They're cheap. Just use it and throw it away and move on to the next one. So that's a great thing. I use pins whenever I am doing applique work because I never ever hoop any garment in the hoop. I always hoop stabilizer, and then I pin the garment with these pins after I use this stuff here, which is temporary spray adhesive. So what you want to do, and I'll do a tutorial on this later on how to hoop something properly, but you want to use temporary glue a lot. This helps out with keeping your fabrics in place while the machine tacks it down, so that it doesn't move around and pucker. So this is really good stuff. It doesn't gum the needle. It's kind of expensive to me. I think a lot of women use some different brands, but this seems to work for me okay. And then of course the pins, always plenty of pins there. Now stabilizers are a super important staple to having good applique. If you use the cheap stuff, it's going to show up on your work. So if you have a business doing this and you worry about the longevity of your product when it's all finished, your garment that you've sewn out and you're selling, or if you're sewing for family and you want to make sure that it lasts a long time, then you need to choose really good stabilizers, and it's worth the splurge because the outcome really makes a big difference. I have a couple different kinds here. For my main work that I do, I always use this sulky tearaway. And I always use the lightweight. If I have something that has really heavy embroidery work, then I will put 2 sheets in the hoop instead of just 1. But as you can see, it's this is a lightweight, and I always buy it at my sewing machine shop. I paid $12.99. I'm sure with a coupon for Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics you can get this cheaper elsewhere, but definitely the good stuff. And then for the lovely in the hoop projects and for sewing on piled fabrics, I know from my last video ladies were asking me what I was using, and I actually use this stuff right here, which I have no idea what this stuff is. It's it's very tacky, hard to peel off, and as you can see I don't have the packaging for it, so I have no idea what it is. But it's okay when I run out of the good stuff here, which is what I'm going to show you. I love this stuff. It is so awesome. I'm going to show you, if I can get it out here, what it looks like. Okay, if you can see, it's kind of the consistency of, it's like a film, and it's really strong. But I'm going to be doing a tutorial later on our brand new fall hair bow in the hoop project, and I'm using this in it, and this stuff is awesome. Perfect for doing in the hoop projects, which means that you don't use stabilizer, you use this to sew on, and then you punch out your design, and this stuff washes away, wipes away really easily with a damp sponge, and it's just absolutely perfect. And as you can see here, the insert is a medium weight sulky, which is the good stuff, and it's the Ultra Solvy water soluble stabilizer. And then lastly but not least, anytime you're sewing on a garment that's going to be worn, you need to use this stuff here. This is a just a mesh. It's really soft. It feels like a polyester material, and on one side it's kind of more grainy than the other side is more smooth. And so you want to do the smooth side up. So the grainy side is going to be touching the back of your applique work. So it would be on the inside of the shirt, and you would iron it down. And make sure you put a cloth over top of it whenever you iron it, because the glue from it will stick to your iron and be really messy. So I've learned from experience. Make sure you put down a cloth as you iron this onto the back end. When it just cut a piece about the size of your applique work. Try not to have any corners. Try to cut it like a circle, and then just iron it on really well. And you might even want to come back later and iron it again really well. And that's one of the good things about this stuff. And I have no idea what brand it is. I'm sure any brand will work good, but the benefit of this is if it does come loose after several washings, you can iron it back down. So that's really an added bonus. So as you can see here, here's all the things that I use on a day-to-day basis. These scissors not so much, but my thread, my stabilizers, the pins for pinning my garments in the hoop, temporary glue. These scissors are the best, so I definitely recommend you go out immediately and find these, get a pair, because no more fabric showing on the wrong side of your satin stitches. So these, just get these are great. And then the bobbins, and that's about all you need to get started, other than your fabrics and your t-shirts. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much.